Hey everybody, it's time for GMG In The Raw live. Grab your favorite beverage of choice and join us as we discuss the Minnesota Vikings. Feel free to add in your comments and we'll talk about them on air. GMG In The Raw live is about to start. Look at the countdown timer. Once it hits 0, we're starting with the best Vikings post-game show out there. Type in your questions, your comments. We'll talk about them. Played, you know what that means. It's time. Skol. Vikings versus Bears. GMG In The Raw. Hey everybody, we're here. Dave from Good Morning Gjallarhorn. And in the center and prime position, we have Ryno, king of the jungle from the frozen north, and all the way over there on the end, we have the fantastic and one and only, the great Flip Mozzie. And wasn't that a fun game?
That was awesome.
You know what this is?
Is that a toilet bowl?
It's a strainer, but
it's the Vikings defense. Prop. Everything can get through.
Yeah.
Where do we even start, boys?
Why don't we start with they come out beginning of the game. The defense holds Chicago to a 3-and-out. And then the offense turns around and goes, pfft. And then from there on out, everybody was flat. Just like every other home game this season. I was hoping we'd pull this one out and then hit the road because we do better on the road. Not a chance. Not a chance. Can you tell me why they are so flat and what seems unfocused and unmotivated at home?
One word.
Oh, I know yours.
Coaching. The coaching. All the way from Zimmer, Kubiak, Wilf, everybody on that whole damn staff. It is their job to get these guys up and ready to play, and they don't ever freaking do it. Have we come out firing more than maybe once or twice in the entire damn year? We're done with week 15 now. and we're still looking
At
like
home?
we're playing well, we're still looking like we're playing preseason games, and we don't really give a shit.
Yeah, but see, that's where I disagree. Coaching, yes, affects that. But these are also professionals that should be self-motivated as well. They're the ones that get up at the crack ass of dawn, working their way up to get into the NFL, working out, doing laps, doing runs, doing agility drills, lifting weights, studying their playbook, running routes, and doing everything else. They are self-motivated type A people. They do not always need their hands held by a coach. Now, should the coach help motivate them? Yes, without a doubt. That's part of leadership. But you can't blame it all. You can't blame 53 people laying down on their back as part of Zimmer not doing his job.
Yes, we
can. Yes, we can, and I'm not just going on Zimmer here. I'm going on Kubiak too. The play calling on offense today was horseshit.
Chicago it's not even the play calling. It is you are with these guys. You're in the meeting rooms. It's not just Zimmer. It's not just Kubiak. It's Rick Dennison. It's Andre Patterson. It's Durante Jones. It's Marwan Malouf. The reason why it's coaching is because if you have 53 flat players, if you have 53 players who can't motivate themselves like you're accusing them of doing, Dave, then what is the solution? If you're a coach in that locker room and in those meetings and you see an unmotivated player, what are you doing about it? And the Vikings coach's answer is nothing. Because there's no solution to just say, oh, we need to get new players. That's not an actual solution. The solution is to coach them better.
You had guys, somebody like Bud Grant or even Dennis Green, guys like that, they would never have stood for the way these guys come out and play flat all the time.
Never.
Bud would have shoved his boot up so many people's asses he'd have got a contract.
But the players of that time period would have told each other to get your asses off the ground and play. Drew's talked about it. They kept a lot of that in the locker room
culture for a long time, but that is a coaching issue too, because they've purged the cultural leaders off of this football team. But this game,
or they aged out.
Number one, Vikings fans should be very proud of themselves because it's clear that the crowd in Minnesota matters more than we thought it did. Because when you've got 65,000, when I'm in that stadium, when Vikings Jerome is in that stadium, when Freddie Hall is in that stadium, clearly that makes a difference because they come out flat when we're not all in there.
Right.
That's number one. Number two, this is a result of when you come off of a loss and you blame that loss on bad kicking and bad refs. When you don't actually challenge yourselves and say, here are the things that we did wrong. Here are the things we can control. When you blame that shit, that bullshit on things that you can't control, you just come out the next week, you automatically think that you're going to be better when you're just having meetings about, oh, well, if we get a good performance from Dan Bailey, we'll win. It's not that simple in the NFL. You need to look inside and look at yourself and look at your team every single week and try to improve. And I didn't see the Vikings try to do that. All the issues that they had last week in Tampa Bay, all the issues that people wanted to overlook because of bad kicking and bad refs, they popped up again today.
Since Drew's not here.
Well, we didn't have bad kicking today. And the officiating, no, I didn't see any bad officiating or overly zealous.
We got a bunch of calls in our favor, and we still lost. Look, and that's my point. Look, Freddie's telling us we won every game that Freddie Hall was at last year. Okay.
Mm-hmm. No, the fans do make a difference. Whether it's the boom, boom skull, right, at the beginning that fires everybody up. It didn't happen this year. We played better in the first quarter on the road, and I'll look that up statistically to back that up, but just by eyeball. We played better in the first quarter, first half, on the road this season than we did at any time at home. And that is inexcusable. Period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, here, part of that
Go
coming
ahead.
out flat is the play calling we're doing. Chicago was down to a backup. Both starting cornerbacks were backups, and one of their safeties was a backup. And unless I missed something, the first deep throw we attempted was with 5 minutes left in the fucking third quarter.
The play calling was atrocious.
2.5 quarters. We don't try to exploit the weakness on the defense. We're content throwing 3-yard dump-offs to Dalvin Cook out of the backfield or running Dalvin up the middle on 4th down at our own 34-yard line in the first quarter.
It's bad. And then in the third
three
quarter,
targets for Adam Thielen. 3 targets for Adam Thielen in the entire
in
game.
the third quarter, right? One of those backup corners goes down, and they bring some guy in off the street to replace him.
Yeah.
What's our next play?
Nothing that would attack him.
We handed off to Dalvin Cook for a 1-yard run up the middle.
Okay,
it's common sense. You replace somebody on the field with some backup and a backup of a backup, you attack him. That's the first place you go.
Okay,
they're not.
Tell me how that's not coaching.
That is coaching.
You said it wasn't.
Oh no, that's play calling. No, I'm talking the motivation and coming out flat. Because players should have their own self-motivation. They should develop their own leadership within their locker room, and they should be able to not be acceptant of, hey, we suck. Why are we sucking? Because we aren't doing anything. Let's step up the level and start playing.
The comments got me going. Y'all are great.
But to what Flip said a few minutes ago here, I mean,
Here's another thing that's coaching. Okay, it's 4th and 1. You keep your offense on, and then you're like, oh no, we should punt. And then the Bears call a timeout, so you're like, oh no, let's go for it. And then your 4th down call is a halfback dive. You know what good coaching is? Good coaching is on Tuesday or Wednesday. You get in the film room and you say, if it's a 4th down, here's our 3 play calls for that 4th down. The Vikings don't do that. They don't do that. They
at least they look like they don't do that.
And then they're like, oh no, what are we gonna do? That's bad preparation. That's bad coaching.
Yeah.
Ted Bertrand is correct there.
And then even down to the very last play, the Hail Mary at the end. You put BC Johnson over there as the guy that's going to go up for the ball. You have Justin Jefferson off on the other side of the field on the lineup. And you don't even – and you got the guy who can probably jump the best out of any of them that's not over in that group. I mean –
So let me ask y'all, what does the Vikings defense do well?
Take up space, breathe.
They don't even take up space very well.
Well, not enough, as demonstrated by the holes.
Well, Montgomery had a career high in rushing yards today. It was like 146 yards or something.
Our defensive line is horrible.
What does the Vikings offense do well?
The offense?
Yeah. What do they do well?
You got top flight running back.
Okay.
We've got two. When
the plays are called, you got 2 good receivers, one of which broke Randy Moss's record today. Congratulations, Justin Jefferson.
I already got in a Twitter fight about that, so let that go. Do they pass the ball well?
They can at times.
Do they run the ball well?
At times.
At times. Okay. What does
and you would say that about just about every team, because there's times when they don't. But you want those times being a higher percentage, is 70, 80, 90, 95% of the time, versus who knows when. They may go on a 60% streak, but then the next drive, they look like absolute dog shit.
Well, the thing of it is, we've got the talent at the skill positions anyway, but we don't have the play calling, and we have the wrong emphasis The offensive line, like we talked about on the pregame show, is built for run blocking. They're not built for pass blocking. Now, granted, a couple of times there today when Kirk was under pressure, I was keeping track. He was holding the ball for 6 to 7 seconds, which is way too long.
Do we have the
ball?
Yeah. I don't think we have the skill positions. Like I get hated on for hating on Kirk, but I don't see a skill position there. I don't think we have a quarterback.
Well, I've been saying that for years.
Yeah,
we can't. I mean, we don't have.
Yeah,
we don't have the skill.
I'm not going to argue that point with you either.
Because we don't have the quarterback. We don't have a guy who can get Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson the ball to the point where Justin Jefferson is saying it after the play. We don't have the skill positions, and Ted Bertrand here brings up great point. Zim doesn't have a rebuild left in the tank, and this team needs to build around a new quarterback and Justin Jefferson. Is
and are they going to? No.
Not only does Zimmer not have it in the tank, not only does Zimmer not have it in the tank, I don't want Zimmer being in charge when we're trying to build around a new quarterback because A, he's not going to do it, and B, he's probably going to screw the kid up at worse than he's going to help him out.
It's just the young guys, y'all, and I can go through every young guy. I took notes on this game, but every single one of my notes, the second that game started, I was like, nope. You could see it. You could see it.
No,
you could, absolutely.
And the worst part is none of it was a surprise. None of it. Nobody's surprised by this effort. Nobody's surprised by the fact they lost. And it's a terrible-ass Bears team they played. We should be shocked. We should be shocked, and we should be angrier than we are, honestly, right now. We should be angrier. But we're used to this mediocrity bullshit that we're not. That's what pisses me off. We're celebrating. We're celebrating Justin Jefferson catching more balls than Randy Moss. Like, that means something. That means absolutely fucking nothing. Justin Jefferson is so fucking damn good. If he was in an actual offense, he would have broken that record a month ago. Okay? That record means nothing. Stop celebrating it. Justin Jefferson, he's not satisfied with that record, so why should you be as a fan? Why are we settling for this bullshit?
And seeing this coming out of Justin Jefferson, if Zimmer indeed does stay around for a while, give it a couple of years, we're going to have another Stephon Diggs episode on our hands where Justin's going to say, my talents are being wasted here. I want out.
The fans will bail before. Yeah, it's happening. It is happening.
Zimmer and the whole staff has to go.
They got to go.
We're going to be talking about this next season too.
We're going to be the same fucking
they will go
right now. But they
that
need
doesn't make
to go.
me feel any better. It doesn't.
Drew says it all the time. Right now, we're the freaking Bengals, and Mike Zimmer is Marv Lewis. You're sitting there hovering in.
We're not
sitting
even
there hovering in that.
No,
we might
not
make
even
the playoffs. We're real close. You know, the king of the
Bengals went
team.
to the playoffs 5 years in a row. Okay, we're not the Bengals.
Yeah, we can't go. We can't go in consecutive years. We go every other. So.
And this is another thing that's got me hot is they've expanded the playoffs. So 7 teams get in now. And so we're trying to sit here like all happy going into this game that we still got a shot at the playoffs. Are you kidding me? We've got no shot at the 6th seed. So under a normal season, we would have already done sucked ass and we would already done be upset. Why are we trying to hold on?
We are now. I mean, you can put a nice little fucking bow on the season and throw it underneath the Christmas tree because it's over.
It's the young guys. It's Cam Dantzler and Jeff Gladney. It's Justin Jefferson and Brian O'Neill. I don't like any of our young guys on the defensive line. I mean, I'll give DJ Wanham a year, but Hercules Mataafa, he got to go, bro. Jalen Holmes, get rid of him. Jaleel Johnson. They all got to go. And so we don't just need – even if you want to keep Kirk Cousins, you need a lot more – like, the defensive line is so bad that if you bring Danielle Hunter back and expect everything to be okay, then give me some of that peyote you're smoking because we need way more than that.
Well, you'll have Danielle and Pierce. That's 2 out of the 4.
Pierce
Now,
is a
and
run
if
block
Wanham
guy.
steps up, that's 3, and then you need a 3 technique. Hopefully, an impactful 3 technique.
And a rotation. This is a defensive line we're talking
Right.
about. Like
And
in
here
our
still
best years, we had 3 defensive ends and 3 defensive tackles, and we're barely able to do the math to get 4 of those guys.
And we're still dealing in hypothetical. We're sitting there. If Wanham can take the next step, if this, if that, we have no sure things on. We're still dealing with a hypothetical with Hunter. He could say, "I ain't coming back and playing until I get paid like I should be getting paid, like all the other top defensive ends in the league." And if he doesn't show up,
well, he's under contract, so
he'll get paid too.
He'll get paid, but we don't have the money to pay him. That's the thing.
We got nobody else to pay. We got nobody else to
who
pay.
else? Yeah,
no, but it's all,
other than Cousins.
I mean, you're going to end up. Rudolph's going to be gone. Reef's going to be gone. Some of this other stuff. I mean, we're going to be sitting there again up against the cap just to get him, which means we're not going to be able to afford to get any decent backups, to play at these skill positions or the defensive line positions or anything like that. So we're still in the same fucking boat again, as far as depth goes and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, y'all let me know. Whether you want to run it back, because I don't want to run it back. Don't sound like you want to run it back, Ryno. Do you want to run it back, Dave?
No, I want improvement.
Yeah. Nobody wants to run it back. If they try to run this shit back, be like, oh, we just need a healthy Hunter and a healthy Kendricks and a healthy Barr. And Anthony Harris no longer on the team. And Ifeadi Odenigbo might not be here if he gets a tender. He's not playing well enough to get it. I mean, that defense it's not a 1-year transition for that defense. They got more work to do. And honestly, they don't deserve to build up that side of the ball because they still can't build an offense to actually win a game against the Chicago Bears. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Because, again, except for the game we played earlier in the year, Matt Nagy has made Mike Zimmer his bitch every time we play them.
Mitchell Trubisky is 5-2 against the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
And you want to stick with this bullshit. You want to stick with this mediocrity. I'm sorry. I'm getting hot.
Really? I wouldn't have guessed.
I can't. I just can't.
I don't understand how the Wilfs are going to think that the fan base is going to go for all this shit. Hey, here's some more rainbows and waterfalls and unicorns shitting out in the middle of a flower bed. We're going to be all better now because we get 2 more guys back. Everything's fixed. Great hunky dory. Here's Mike Zimmer trotting back out for another year.
Nick just asked if we fire Zimmer, who would you want to coach? I mean, I would hire David Stefano or Christopher Yates. Like, literally, you are down by 6. You get a red zone turnover. Cameron Dantzler, amazing play in the end zone. Great to see him. I'm excited about Cameron Dantzler. And every time I
after Harris stepped on his Achilles the series before.
Right. But I'm excited about our young guys. And every time I get down on the Vikings, people say, man, you just need to be excited. No, I'm excited about the young guys. We make that play, and then we come back. A game is on the line, 2-minute drill, and we run the ball.
When the secondary is filled full of guys from 7-Eleven, to coin the phrase, and they had receivers open all day. But you couldn't keep Kirk Cousins free enough, even on 3-step drops. 3-step drops would have worked. But no, you're still calling 5- and 7-step drops straight back instead of rolling out to take advantage of that secondary. And when you did try to take advantage of that secondary, you did well. But no, you turn around and call, hey, Dalvin, let's go up the A-gap for 1 yard.
Yeah. So Nick, to answer your question, I've been saying it all year. Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator in Tennessee, he runs a wide zone scheme similar to what Kubiak is doing, but he's much better at building around his quarterback, giving his quarterback Ryan Tannehill what he needs to succeed. Tannehill's having his best year ever. I hire Arthur Smith to be head coach, a guy who's getting the most out of Derrick Henry, running the same blocking scheme we run. We can see a quick turnaround. Again, we can see a quick turnaround if we have the right coaching there. Arthur Smith, number one. Number two, I'm not just done there. I go out and I get Pep Hamilton, who's the quarterback's coach on the Los Angeles Chargers right now. He's done an amazing job with Justin Herbert. So you get Arthur Smith head coach, you get Pep Hamilton to be your offensive coordinator. That's an amazing start. And that's just one of many options we're talking about when looking at a new head coach.
You've got, I mean, everybody's saying, bring in Bieniemy from KC. Well, Bieniemy's going to have his choice to go wherever he wants to. He's not coming here.
Right. But and I don't like Bieniemy here, to be honest.
Another one I'm kind of starting to warm up to a little bit is Brian Daboll or however you say it up in Buffalo. He's done a hell of a job with that offense up there this year. Mm-hmm. So there's plenty of options, and that's the problem. When I get into these discussions / arguments with certain members of the fan base on a regular basis, it's, we get rid of Zimmer, we might get somebody worse. But
that's possible.
It's always possible.
That's the point.
But if you're satisfied with sticking
historically,
with
it will happen.
Yes. If you're satisfied with mediocrity because you're scared that something bad might happen, you're never going to get better. You take a shot. You go out and get some innovative offensive mind to come in here and play football the way it's being played in the 2020s, not the way it was played in the 1990s.
Imagine being a cleanup hitter with the bases loaded and saying, you know what, if I try to hit a home run here, I might strike out. Like, are you kidding me? You swing the bat. When you feel you got a real chance to improve your team, you take the chance to make it happen. Mr. Bertrand, to answer your question, what do I do with Rick Spielman? He gone. Get rid of that guy. He's had his time. His draft picks have been decent at best. I'm not saying that he's a clear issue, but if you want me to poke holes in Rick Spielman, I can do so quickly. So he's got to go too. And I want a coach and a GM who are on the same page from day one. None of this is going to happen, but I'm just telling y'all it needs to happen, or else we're going to be sitting here next year with the same old shit.
And we're going to be sitting here next year with slightly better record, because some of those guys on the defense came back. And that's it.
I don't know. That's not guaranteed at all. I don't think so.
We're still, even with those guys back, the way everything else is right now, we're not much better than we are. I mean, you're still hovering in that 9-7 maybe instead of 7-9, 10-6 maybe. I mean, most people were talking at the beginning of the year, before we knew Hunter wasn't going to play and before Pierce had opted out, they were pegging the Vikings at about 10-6 as it was.
Right. And most were calling for them to win the division.
Right. But the tough part here is that when you adjust for opponent, you have to realize that the Vikings have beat one good team all year.
Just one.
Yeah.
And I've seen nothing to say that that's going to change even when those guys are back, because our coaches keep on putting us in bad situations.
Zimmer's record against teams that are 500 or better is now 18 and
it's like 1-3.
18 and 35 or something like that now, or
we're 2-5 against Mitch Trubisky.
Right. That should tell you all you need to know right there.
Only won once against Nagy. Yes.
Yeah, and that was because they had no running back that game. Akeem Hicks was out that game, and you had
part of that
statue back there at quarterback, because Foles can't move around anywhere close to the way Trubisky can. So, and that beating Nagy in that game is showing to be more of an anomaly than a trend. The trend is every time we play Nagy, he makes Zimmer look like an idiot. And he did it again today.
Let me put it this way. If the Vikings get healthy and they keep the coaching staff in place, Are they a Super Bowl contender for 2021? Not
Nope.
just are they better, are they a Super Bowl contender?
Not a chance.
I wouldn't
We
say
talked-
that. They could be.
Yeah, and I could have a date with Brooklyn Decker when we're done here too, Dave, but that ain't
Did we
happening.
think 2017 was a Super Bowl contender?
Okay,
Yeah.
you can, if you want to go with
Yeah.
the sun even shines on the dog's ass theory once in a while, sure, we might luck out, things go our way, we get an easy schedule, and we can end up,
We pick
Aaron
up
Rodgers
we pick up a
breaks a collarbone and out.
couple
9
key
weeks
players
later
in the
something.
draft. We get
Who
those
was the
guys-
offensive coordinator in 2017? And what did he get out of his quarterback? Pat
Oh, I
maximized.
agree. That was a hell of a lot better. Shermer and making Keenum play his literally best season of his lifetime.
It's not just better; it's necessary. You need that to be
There's a
Across the
difference.
board,
You need
unless you have that key quarterback, which we don't. We have Kirk Cousins instead.
no matter who your quarterback, you need a coordinator to maximize that guy, not a guy who's gonna call a 3-yard run in a 2-minute situation to go win the game. You need a coordinator who's going to maximize your quarterback.
Well, that's
No
the
matter
thing
who the
with
quarterback is.
Shermer and even with Stefanski last year. I mean, look at what Stefanski's doing in Cleveland this year. I mean, those guys at least were a little bit forward thinking and able to design up some stuff. Shermer did a really good job with that. I mean, which is obvious. I mean, Case Keenum played out of his mind for most of that year in 2017, and look at what he's done the entire rest of his career. Not dog shit.
And I'll give Mike Zimmer credit for 2017 too, because although a lot of people were angry about it, he never gave Case Keenum you're the de facto starter line. He kept Case Keenum on edge. And that brought out the best in Case Keenum, knowing that any given play, any given game, he could have been benched. That brought out the best of Case Keenum. That made Case say, look, this is maybe the last opportunity of my career. And Case made the best out of that. So what do we need to get the best out of Kirk Cousins? And are we doing it? Because right now we're just telling Kirk, no matter what, you're the guy. And
we're already
getting
getting the best out of Kirk Cousins. I don't think Kirk can do any better than what he's doing.
Well, we're not asking him to do much.
No, but at this point in his career, Kirk is what he is.
And if you say it's the coaches, you had the same coaches in New England, and they were just eliminated today. What was the difference? The quarterback.
And nobody's saying the quarterback doesn't make a difference, Dave. But Bill Belichick gets a little bit longer leash than Mike Zimmer should be getting, because, I mean, there's a little bit difference in the body of work between Bill freaking Belichick, who's won 6 Super Bowls this century.
And he had the quarterback.
Versus
Zimmer never has.
Versus Mike Zimmer, who the only way he gets to the Super Bowl is if he buys
with
a ticket.
And he gets close with a fucking top 3 defense.
Bill Belichick did a terrible job of coaching this year. And he's a GM of that team too, and they didn't have a good offseason. So yeah, I'm not trying to say that there's no automatic good or bad in this scenario. Okay, you give Pat Mahomes to the Minnesota Vikings with the same coaches, you're not going to get a Super Bowl contender.
No.
Okay, so what you're talking about the match, the synergies between the two. And the Vikings they don't have that.
Well,
I think if you want to build around Kirk Cousins, you go one way, and the Vikings, honestly, they're not built to do that. If you want to build around a different quarterback, you go that way. And the Vikings they seem hesitant to do that too.
Right.
So we're just going to
handcuff
be stuck in the middle.
But
from stopping.
Prime examples here for the, saying that it's not the coaching, it's the players. Just look at Atlanta. Last time I checked, they were either ahead or tied with Tampa Bay. Did they lose? But, I mean, Raheem Morris has got those guys playing pretty damn good down there. Our buddy Darrell Bevell has got the Lions playing decent football. Once they kicked Patricia out the door and put in somebody, I mean, it just shows that different coaches can take those players and do a better job with them. Go ahead.
Yeah, like I said, my goal is a Super Bowl. Y'all can have whatever goal you want. My goal is a Super Bowl. Let me put it a different way. I've said all year, Mike Zimmer, when we were 1-5, I said, you get us to 8-8, or you get the hell out of my state.
Well, you still got a chance.
He better damn do it. He better damn win on Christmas. But if he doesn't do that, in my opinion, get rid of the guy. Now, other fans, they're more apologetic. They say, give him another year. It's coronavirus. It's injuries. So you tell me, what's the minimum record that the Vikings need to get in 2021 for you to continue this?
In 2021?
Yeah.
They need to win the division.
If they don't win the division, then they should fire Mike Zimmer. Is that what you're saying?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think Mike Zimmer should get a chance to try to even come up with a record in 2021.
But you're not the Wilfs, and he's going to get a chance.
I know I'm not the Wilfs, but the Wilfs seem to be just fine and dandy with mediocrity. I'm not.
Sells
I'm
tickets.
with Flip. I'm with Flip.
So what is it? Tickets. What is it? 2021
sells tickets.
Oh, hey, let's go watch a half-assed team for 3 hours. We're going to spend $200 and go for one or two people.
It's not going to sell tickets.
No, it's not. You got people around that are getting fed up with this. Oh, we're going to go 10-6 and losing. Maybe we might win a wild card game, but then we're going to get our asses handed to us next week. Oh, now it's an off year. We're going to go 7-9.
There's still enough fans to sell tickets.
But that's okay because, we could have been worse. It could have been 5-11, but we went 7-9.
Still going to sell tickets.
Okay. That's average.
Dave, are you telling me that that stadium is going to sell out no matter what?
Unless we go to crap. Complete crap.
Okay, what's crap?
Yes.
What's your crap? What's your definition of crap for
3-13?
Okay.
Season after season. Then we won't.
No.
But if we go 8-8 or better every year, yeah, it's going to sell out.
I don't believe you, man. We disagree on that.
Snake oil. You're selling false hope.
The last time they didn't sell out was right when the Wilfs bought the team.
Right.
Yeah. And the year before that,
like 5-11.
The year before that, we went 12-4, and we're a bounty gate away from going to the Super Bowl.
No.
Sorry, that was
no.
That was never mind. I'm off.
It was under Red McCombs and
Mike Tice got fired after 7-9.
The Wilfs had already taken over,
yeah,
and they supposedly, from what I've heard from beat writers and such, they regretted pulling the switch so quick on that.
Well,
they feel they made a mistake.
So
especially in how they did it, announcing it before he was even out of the locker room.
Yeah, so being they felt bad about that, now with Zimmer, instead of flipping the switch too early, they took the switch out and they just hardwired the damn thing. So it's just going to keep on going into perpetuity until they do run it down to where you're only getting 40,000 people in the damn stadium.
The second the attendance in that stadium drops below 95%, they're so lucky. They're so lucky, man, that they don't have fans this year. I'm telling you, the Boo Birds would be out. The Boo Birds, can you imagine if Freddie Hall was in that stadium? Can you imagine the boos?
Uh-huh.
Can you imagine the Wills hearing that? And you think they're just going to sit around like everything's okay when their team's getting booed, when their billion-dollar investment is just a house of boos.
But that's not the case this season because there's nobody there.
Okay, well, next season.
And they don't hear us on, YouTube and post-game shows everywhere.
I'm telling you, Dave, it is coming. It is coming. If they don't start winning and competing and contending, it is coming. Every Vikings fan I talk to, every single one. Maybe I'm just.
But it's going to take 2021 to get to that point.
Yeah, I agree, and that's why I asked you about 2021 record. If they don't win the division,
I mean, realistically, I still firmly believe if we don't beat the Saints in the wild card round last year, Zimmer's already gone. And probably Spielman along with it.
Yeah, so I don't think we're that far away.
So now all of a sudden we've got a long leash again. We're going to give them another. I understand they just gave him contract extensions and stuff to begin the year, which again was a comedy of errors with the whole giving all three of the Stooges a contract extension at the beginning of the year was stupid.
Right. This should have been there last year, and they could have made a clean get out. But now the new contract extensions start in 2021.
Yeah.
I'm telling you all better start winning some games, Mike Zimmer. Mike Tice got fired after 9-7, and we're here. Zimmer's going 8-7-1. Zimmer's going 8-8. Zimmer's going he's 6-8 now. Mike Tice got fired after 9-7, but we're okay now.
Losing to Chicago.
There's a definite potential. We're going 6-10 because now I don't see us beating the Saints next week, and there's a very good chance the Lions are going to beat us at the end of the year because right now these last two games don't mean shit to us, other than getting the young guys some playing time. They don't mean shit. Any pipe dream of the playoffs walked right out that door when the clock went to double zeros today. This was a playoff game today.
Well, I think it's down to 1%. But yes, it's over.
Dave, come on.
I'm talking mathematically, not talking realistic.
Here again, mathematics versus realism. There is absolutely zero chance. Okay, go ahead, Bo.
So a lot of Vikings fans say that beating the Saints last year was actually a bad thing long term for the Vikings because
I agree.
Yeah, and a lot of people. But let me say this: if they don't beat the Saints this year, then you ultimately get the same result because nationally televised game on Christmas Day. If they get blown out by is Drew Brees back?
He's playing today.
I don't know if he's playing today or not.
Yeah, they said he was going to start today.
If they get blown out in New Orleans, y'all, and you have a visual representation beating the Saints in overtime 2019, getting blown out Christmas Day 2020 on your way to 6-10, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, the only plus we got possibly going for us next week is Michael Thomas is on IR for the rest of the regular season.
Well, so Daryl Mooney's scoring touchdowns on us. What does that mean?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, you could have Dave Thomas out there scoring touchdowns. It wouldn't make any difference.
I don't know what more to say about this game.
It sucked.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was the worst game.
There was some good plays. Dantzler, obviously the interception. Even there were some good plays. You got to take that if you're looking for, sparks.
No, we don't do that moral victory bullshit.
I'm not saying it's a moral victory. I'm just saying, looking at the young kids, which ones of them improved.
Well, right.
Y'all got the Christmas gifts. We're watching on Christmas now. Don't let your wives prevent you from putting that game on.
Yeah,
come on now. Anyway, come on now, Ted. We gotta make sure you better buy her something nice. You better buy her something nice, man. I don't know what it is. I see those Pandora commercials. I think that jewelry is ugly, but y'all got to be doing something nice. You got to watch the Vikings lose at least one more time this year. Why not on Christmas?
But when we talk about nagging, owning Mike Zimmer seems to have owned New Orleans.
Yeah.
It just feels different, man.
He does.
Well, I agree. It feels different, but he's beat them. We've ended their season a couple times already. Now, we won't end their season this time, even if we win.
Maybe they're resting people.
No, they're
still fighting for the number one.
They're trying to get the number one seed.
Yeah.
Because
they don't want to have to go through Green Bay in January.
Mark Larson's got it figured out. Mark's watching the game. Freddie's excited for 6-10. This is the darkest timeline. This is the darkest timeline.
Anyways,
I hate 2020.
Yeah, it sucked. Yeah. With that, we are moving into Christmas week, right? Hanukkah's already upon us. holidays abound. You may be restricted into your homes and apartments and whatever you call an abode due to your dictatorial governors, but we're here for you. And as part of Vlogmas 2020 and Climb in the Pocket Network, along with Daily Norseman, we're broadcasting live every single day, even after a bad Minnesota Vikings loss like today.
Except for tomorrow, though, because we can't talk about playoff odds, can we? We don't even.
No,
we're not.
You're committed to 15 minutes with Flip Mozzie tomorrow night.
What am I going to talk about?
Anything you want to. We talk about decorating the tree. I don't care. We're doing a live show.
Okay, I'll be there.
I know what we talk about, Flip.
Even when the Vikings don't show up, Flip Mozzie does.
Yep. And you got that right. And I know what we can talk about. Beverage of choice when you watch your Vikings win or lose.
Oh, we can do that. That'll be a good show. I hope y'all come on. We'll talk about a lot of different options: beer, whiskey, water,
tequila,
kombucha.
Mm-hmm. So we'll do that tomorrow night, halftime during the NFL game, during the Monday night game. Tuesday, we have Climbing the Pockets in the Huddle, which is a variety of your Climbing the Pocket favorite hosts and contributors get together and talk football. I'm sure a bunch of it will be about this game. You might get some of the stat nerds on there as well. And then Wednesday, Ryno, what do we have Wednesday?
Wednesday. You put me on this. I was told there would be no test.
Yeah, there's a test for you because you're on it.
That's we're doing the pregame show on Wednesday.
That's right. 9:00 Wednesday evening, Christmas Eve. We're doing a pregame show, and there may be some eggnog or something else involved on that show. Hopefully, we can lighten your mood, get you rolling into Christmas Eve. And then, of course, on Thursday, 15 minutes after the game, GMG In The Raw. So, we look forward to seeing you. We want you to stay safe, stay healthy, as always. Any last words there, Flip?
Y'all, don't get mad at me when the Vikings suck. It's not my fault they suck. I'm just saying they suck. So, take your anger out on somebody else. I can handle it, but I'm just saying it might be better for you.
Freddie, technically, mathematically, yes, but it's like 1%. And Ted, I agree with you. Victory and Jack Daniels, even though Jack's not my favorite.
Skull Vikes.
Skull Nick. Ryno?
Realistically, as far the Vikings and more in particular the coaching staff, everybody just took a shit in everybody's stocking today for Christmas. But
it may improve our draft status good enough to get somebody we like.
Beyond all that, I just want to wish you guys and everybody out there watching, a Merry Christmas. Best wishes. Everybody be safe for the holiday. We'll see you Wednesday night for the pregame show, and then we'll see what happens next week against the Saints.
Mm-hmm. And Flip and I will see you tomorrow night during halftime. Everybody, go Vikings, even if it's next year, and Skull!
Skull Vikes.
Thank you for watching or listening. As always, if you like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. And if you're listening to the podcast, please rate us on your favorite aggregator. Skol, everybody.